The 2010 Cowboys Classic, brought to you by Tostitos, good times, guaranteed. Wrangler, for unbeatable comfort and value, you can count on Wrangler. Wrangler, real, comfortable, jeans. And Bud Light, it's a sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Oregon State won the toss, so we're going to get a chance to see their offense first. With more on the brothers Rogers, let's check in third member of our team, Holly Rowe. Holly?
Well, James and Jaquiz Rogers are playing tonight about 4 hours away from where they grew up, and it's the first time they've been back home to play in front of their friends and family in Texas since they left home. They have about 30 to 40 family members here, including their mom, their sister, their brother, uncles. They had special T-shirts made that say, "We believe in Quan and Quiz." That's James's nickname. There could be distractions with this, but their coach, Mike Riley, told me that they were not too hyped, they were ready, they were focused, and that the guys themselves said this will be a business trip. We'll see tonight.
Mike Riley, he's always had trouble getting his team focused and ready to play early in the season, but he's got a splendid record at Corvallis. This guy, what a record, and what he's done with this football program. Gary Patterson in his 10th season as the head coach of the Horned Frogs of TCU. As I mentioned, Oregon State won the toss. They'll take the ball. That means Kevin Sharples will tee it up. And back deep, James Rogers, one of the captains. They'd like to keep it out of his hands. Jordan Poyer is back there with him. So it's TCU and Oregon State, the boys of fall, as we're set from Cowboy Stadium in Arlington. Here we go. James Rogers a yard deep. Across the 20, fights his way out to about the 24-yard line. Here's a guy that Todd was talking about, Ryan Katz out of Santa Monica, California.
Yeah, he is really talented. I mean, watching him on Wednesday, I mean, when you say a guy has an NFL arm, that means he can make every throw. And Mike Riley is an NFL coach, former head coach in the NFL. He knows what an NFL quarterback looks like. And this guy has got the physical tools. He just has not played much, but he is ready to go.
And Mike Riley says, I'm going to tell him to let it rip. Just go play. First down, first play. We're going to let him rip it right here. And he's going deep. And it's James Rogers, and he just overshot it. Well, that's the way he opened things up.
That's called letting it rip.
Yep. Greg McCoy was covering. Rogers had a step, but the pass was just a little bit too deep.
They went after McCoy, who may be the fastest guy on this TCU team. A very fast team all over the place, but McCoy might be the very fastest. But Rogers beat him on that play.
They shift now, and Jaquiz Rogers gets back there at the tailback spot. Play action. Katz, trouble from behind. Down he goes. Ball is out. TCU's got it, I think. Battle at the bottom of the pile. Wayne Daniels came flying around the corner, and they're going to say that Oregon State got back on top of the ball.
Well, he beat the tight end. Brady Camp, number 83, is trying to set inside to block him, and Daniels went right around him with that quickness. This is Daniels' year. He's the guy that's taking the spot of the departed Jerry Hughes, who was a first-round draft pick, and right away Daniels makes his presence felt.
Last year, 5.5 sacks. It's the first one for him here in the opening moments. And now Katz will work from the shotgun on a third down and 13. Fires near side and in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. Aaron Nichols would have been about a yard short of the first down had he held onto it. So it's 3 and out for Oregon State.
Well, they got 2 bodies on Daniels that time to give Katz a little more time, and that time Katz was a little off with his throw. It was an outside route, and the ball was thrown to the inside of his receiver Nichols, and it resulted in the incompletion.
Johnny Hecker will punt for the Beavers, and back deep, a guy that's very dangerous. He took 2 to the house as a punt returner last year, special teams player of the year in the Mountain West, Jeremy Curley. High, deep spiral. Curley's got a back pedal to the 25. Made the first man miss. And then gets down the sideline to about the 33-yard line, and that's where the offense of TCU will take over. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Horned Frogs. Here's the big eaters up front. Cannon moves to left tackle, making his first start there. He was on the right side last year. Roth, the right tackle, his first start, and Kirkpatrick is the anchor at center. Ed Wesley starts in the backfield. Hicks and Curley, the wide receivers, with Jimmy Young, and the tight end Evan Frosch. And it's Andy Dalton set up in the backfield with Ed Wesley in a shotgun. And all the receivers have a look to the sideline.
We'll see some no huddle out of TCU in this ball game tonight.
Here's a quick pass, and it's in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. So incomplete on first down. We'll see, as Todd was talking about, TCU go with some no huddle tonight, but not after a play like that.
Well, it's one of the differences between a fifth-year senior quarterback who has won 29 games. More responsibility at the line of scrimmage to check the plays. You give him more of that leadership role, and Dalton is ready to do that this season.
Second down at the 34. Dalton all alone, slip screen. Curley puts his hand down to keep his balance and got out across the 40, close to the 42-yard line. As we take a look at the defensive alignment for Oregon State, and they have got a great one up front in Stephen Paya, one of the best in college football, with Olander, Henry, and Miller. Linebackers, Keith Pankey coming back from an injury with Wilson and Roberson, and the secondary looks like that's Lance Mitchell, the leader on the back end for Oregon State. First third down of the night for TCU. 41% a year ago in their third down conversions. And it's Dalton who keeps it, and he's got the first down, and that's the dimension that he adds. People forget about sometimes that he threw for 2,700 plus yards last year, but he also ran for over 500.
Just a little simple zone read play for him, and all the attention went to the back, and Dalton did the smart thing. Go north and south, get the first down, and get yourself a new set of downs.
And he does at the 47-yard line. Wesley goes out. Fort comes in as the running back, but right now everybody split in the shotgun as Dalton's back to throw again. Fires, and it's right into the hands of Lance Mitchell. Mitchell back to the 32-yard line. 21-yard return, and Andy Dalton threw that right to number 10.
Yeah, that was a miscommunication between Andy Dalton and two receivers. And he threw it right between two Horned Frog receivers. Watch, he's going to throw it right in between, and the only guy in between is Lance Mitchell for Oregon State. And a big break for the Beaver defense right away.
Let's see if they think about a quick strike here. Just outside the 31-yard line. Quiz Rogers backpedals his way inside the 30 near the 29. Corey Grant, the first guy to make contact. So Andy Dalton, who had those 3 interceptions in the Fiesta Bowl, didn't want to start out the first 3 minutes of this game throwing a pick. But it's given Oregon State a golden opportunity here.
Well, that was definitely some confusion on the part of the TCU offense on that play.
Second down and 8. Cats in the shotgun. Set to throw. Going to go to the end zone. Touchdown. James Rogers. There's the NFL arm, and there's the speed of James Rogers.
And there was the protection that you've got to give a quarterback to make that kind of a throw down the field. Great job by the offensive line, giving Cats time, and the stutter step move by James Rogers to get open in the end zone.
Well, you talk about taking advantage of the turnover. Took him 2 plays. Justin Cahoot in for the point after. And it's up and good. Well, just as TCU had picked up a first down and moved it near midfield, first of all, disaster hit with the turnover. Lance Mitchell with the interception. And just 2 plays later, James Rogers on a strike from Ryan Katz. Beavers 7-0 leaders.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
James Rodgers' 15th career touchdown catch. Oregon State 7-0.
Well, I'll tell you, he's having the better of it against Greg McCoy so far early. He ran by him on an incompletion. Watch him now, number 8. Watch this stutter step move right here, and it freezes McCoy. And then he just blurs right by him, and a beautiful throw by Katz. He ran by him early. That time he double moved him and got an easy touchdown.
Cahoot to kick. Curley and McCoy are deep, and this will be Curley at the goal line. Jeremy Curley, hurdled out to the 16-yard line. 7-0 here. Let's check in with Reese Davis in the studio. Reese.
That's number 1 Alabama opening without Mark Ingram, without Marcel Darius. Already up 14-3 on San Jose State. And Trent Richardson, not going to catch him. 39 yards. Richardson went for over 100 in the national championship game. Has 56 on a couple of touches. Tied up 21-3.
Certainly nice to have that kind of insurance behind the Heisman Trophy winner, huh? Let's see how Andy Dalton comes back from the interception now. Starting at the 16-yard line. Matthew Tucker in the backfield now, and he'll get the call on the counter. Tucker got his head down and got out to the 20.
It's interesting. When we talked to Andy Dalton, we said, okay, you know, you had a tough game. You were the first to admit it in that Fiesta Bowl. What did you learn? What was your takeaway from that game? He said, I learned that I've got to stay even keel.
Right.
I can't get too high, too down. I've got to, because everybody's looking at me, and I've got to stay even keeled. So right now he has that opportunity to show that to his team. After the interception that led to the touchdown, he's still the leader of this football team.
Second down at 7. As you look at Dalton again in an empty backfield. They throw the screen out in the flats. And that one's going nowhere. Nice defense. Ed Wesley dropped by Brandon Harden. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, Todd, to follow up on your point, after that interception, Andy Dalton of TCU came over to the sideline. Nothing in his face would suggest that he was panicking or having inner turmoil. He was calm. His facial expression never changed. He didn't yell at anyone. He didn't get frustrated with anyone. It was cool as ice. He learned from that experience last year. He cannot show that panic to his teammates, who he said everybody was freaking out when things didn't go well early in the Fiesta Bowl. He's not doing that tonight.
So they just weren't in sync and on the right page in that entire game. So far in this first quarter, they aren't necessarily either. He's flushed out of the pocket. He'll keep it and diving for the first down. So he keeps his cool, gets what he can, and gets down, and it's first down, Horned Frogs.
My dad, who was a longtime football coach, always used to tell me, you've got to stay cool in the head but hot in the heart. And that's what Andy Dalton's doing right now. And right there you see coaches have talked to him about sliding. He says, I'm not comfortable with sliding. I'd rather dive and make sure I can avoid the hit that way. And because he dove, he was able to get the first down on that run.
You saw his head coach, nothing cool about Gary Patterson. He's dropping sweat bullets over there already. The roof is open tonight, by the way, at Cowboy Stadium. It was closed until earlier and took about 12 minutes for him to open things up. Reminder, Monday night you can catch another big game as Kellen Moore and Boise State take on the Hokies of Virginia Tech. The All-State kickoff in the Capitol, part of Dick's Sporting Goods kickoff week on ESPN, 8 o'clock Eastern time on Monday night. Of course, that game and this game, everybody feel will shape the entire season for the non-automatic qualifiers. Boise State and TCU both in the top 6 after their great season a year ago that ended with Boise State's win in the Fiesta Bowl over this very team that we're watching tonight. Pickup of about 3. Stephen Paya drops Matthew Tucker, but they're going to move the sticks.
You know, it's pretty interesting. We talked about Andy Dalton being the winningest active quarterback, but look at number 2 and 3, the two guys that'll square off in that game Monday night. Kellen Moore of Boise State and Virginia Tech's Tyrone. Ultimately, as a quarterback, that's how you're judged.
Right. Wins
and losses, not stats, not numbers. The only number that counts is wins.
Colt McCoy's got the record as now a member of the Cleveland Browns. First down, play action. Dalton wants it all. Deep ball, got a man, and got him in stride. On the run and all the way to the 10 is Sky Dawson. And he's a world-class track guy, and he showed his speed there.
Well, Dawson showed his speed. showed his poise because Taylor Henry, number 91, is bearing down on him from his backside. And if he holds it a half second longer, that's a sack. He waits, he throws a perfect throw to Dawson, and Dawson's speed gets the separation for the big play.
52 yards all the way down to the 10-yard line. And on a quick snap and first down, it's Matthew Tucker for about 3. He's spotted down at the 7, where it's going to be second down and goal. TCU in the red zone last year, 85%. 51 of 60. Their scoring opportunities. Right now they're set up at the 7-yard line. Wesley back in there as the tailback. Mark Johnson was a motion man. It's the option that way. And Wesley maybe got to the 5, close to it anyway. That'll bring up third down and goal.
Nice job by Wesley avoiding a negative play. Dwight Roberson, number 59 for Oregon State, was in the backfield defending that option well, and Wesley was able to just kind of step away from him and at least advance the football.
Boy, Ed Wesley just told one of the wide receivers to get off the field. Josh Boyce just about threw him to the sideline. Empty backfield for Dalton. 9th play of the Horned Frog drive on a 3rd and goal.
Watch the quarterback run here as well.
He's going to run. I don't know if it was by design, but he heads to the pylon. Touchdown. Andy Dalton scores, and we're an extra point away from a tie game. Ross Evans in for the point after. Seven. Dalton with a long pass play to Sky Dawson, and then he does it himself. He came back pretty well, didn't he, from that interception, leading an 84-yard touchdown drive and scoring himself.
The 2010 Cowboys Classic is presented by Hampton Hotels. At Hampton, we love having you here. And in part by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's.
Tie game at 7, midway point of the first quarter of the Cowboy Classic. Part of Dick's Sporting Goods kickoff week. TCU an impressive drive led by their senior quarterback. Sharples to kick. Hoyer and Rogers again wait on the other end. It'll be James Rogers again, this time from about the 6. Weaving his way through traffic, and he's out to the 30. Nice return. 24 yards again. Let's go back to the touchdown. Dalton does it himself, Todd.
Well, he does. Now, first of all, as you mentioned, Ed Wesley had to take Josh Boyce, who's a redshirt freshman, say, get out of here. You're not in this formation. And then Dalton, it was not a design quarterback run, but he had 5 receivers, and when everybody started covering receivers and crossing the field, he saw a seam and did the smart thing. For the second time on this drive, on a 3rd down play, he came up with a clutch run, this time 6 yards for the touchdown.
That tied it, and now Oregon State goes back to work from its own 30. Cats pump fake and gives it to Quiz Rogers. And Jaquiz got about 3 as we check in with Reese in the studio.
Brad, Alabama, San Jose State again with the Taco Bell studio update. The redshirt freshman A.J. McCarron at quarterback for Alabama. Check out this grab by Julio Jones. One hand for the touchdown. Julio has 5 catches in the first half so far, and the Crimson Tide is up 28-3. Penn State coming up next week, as you guys well know.
All right, Reese, that one's got to be the top 10 plays of the day, I would think. Along maybe with the interception by Sanders Cummings today at Georgia, a one-handed grab. James Rogers Nearly no gain on the play.
Well, TCU, one thing they're prepared for is the fly sweep. I mean, that's one of the staples of this Oregon State offense with James Rodgers, and the speed of this TCU defense is going to string that play out most of the time.
Yeah, here's a big third down for Oregon State, trying to answer the long drive by the Horned Frogs.
And here's Daniels again right here, the guy they got to account for in this pass protection.
Katz fires deep on the sideline. Aaron Nichols, what a catch, what a throw. And a first down in TCU territory. They got 20 on 3rd and 8.
Aaron Nichols is one of those dependable receivers. He's played all 3 of their receiver spots during his career, but he's starting at the X or the split end spot now as a senior. Does a nice job running the out route, catch, and got the 1 foot down. You only need 1 in.
TCU is going to take a timeout, I think. Gary Patterson may be hoping that the guys upstairs, led by Jim Blackwood, our replay official, our officials from the Big 12, by the way, that they'll take a look at this.
I think the only question is, was he bobbling the ball at all? Because it looked like his left foot was down.
We'll take another look as we go to break, and we'll have an answer for you when we come back. Gary Patterson called a timeout to make sure that the officials took another close look at that. They look at every play, obviously, but this was never under official review because it was a catch and a great one by Aaron Nichols as he stretched out, got his left foot and knee down before he flew out of bounds. So it's a first down, Oregon State at the TCU 48-yard line.
We've seen a good blend of run and pass so far for Oregon State. We haven't seen any misdirection yet, and I would expect to see that soon against this fast flow TCU defense.
I wonder if they get a screen maybe to Quiz Rodgers at some point. They hand it off to him here. And that TCU defense is tough to run against. They were 3rd in the country last year. They gave up only 80 yards a game on the ground. And, of course, Quiz Rodgers was one of the most prolific runners in college football last year.
Well, they're both just so dynamic. And the thing about them, they're both 5'7", about 190 pounds, but they play much bigger than their size would suggest. They're physical. Even that run in between the tackles for a 5'7", 190-pound tailback, he's not afraid to stick his nose in there.
Katz over the middle and got it to James Rodgers, and it's a first down to the 36-yard line.
See, this is where I think the Oregon State passing game creates problems for a defense, even a good defense like TCU. That time, Jaquiz goes out in the flat, so you got to pay attention to him, and that allowed James to just sit right down in a hole in between defenders. Both those guys on the same side of the field, you got to account for both of them, and James Rodgers was left open.
James, who has a touchdown catch tonight, trots out to the top of your screen. He picked up 9 there. Now they go to the Wild Beavers set, except there's going to be flags come in before they can get the snap. You saw Katz trying to get over to become a wide receiver, and they were going to direct snap it to Jaquiz Rodgers. But the umpire did away with that.
Well, the question is, was there a lineman who moved for Oregon State? Katz is allowed to move and change formations. There was definitely movement by the TCU defensive front, but were they drawn off by movement from an offensive lineman?
Carl Richens is our referee.
Dead ball. Offside. Or 57. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, it goes against the defense, but it kind of spoils what Oregon State wanted to do.
Well, they'll take 5 yards, though, against this defense in scoring territory. I mean, Corey Grant is going to react to the movement of the quarterback. See, he goes, and there's Grant jumping off sides because of the movement of the quarterback.
Now they will go back to the same set. Quiz Rodgers to take a direct snap on 1st and 5. And he blasts off the left side inside the 30. About a yard or two. Tank Carter made the tackle.
Yeah, and Tanner Brock came flying in there as well. The new middle linebacker who's taking the place of Darrell Washington. The key losses for this defense. Jerry Hughes, who was a first-round pick by the Colts, a defensive end. He's on the sidelines tonight. And there he is right there in the black shirt. And Darrell Washington, the middle linebacker, who's now the starting linebacker for the Arizona Cardinals.
Second down here for Katz. Draw play to Rodgers. And Jaquiz is all covered up. No gain. Tyler Luttrell, one of the first guys there. And it'll bring up another third down situation.
Even though Jaquiz has been pretty bottled up so far, you've got to keep mixing and matching with the pass and the run, because he's capable of busting one out if a defense loses assignment. Plus, you have to keep that defense honest. He's only got 8 yards on 5 rushes, but they've got good balance in their offense so far.
Now his brother joins him in an I backfield. Quiz in the stance. James, the tailback. Cat's in trouble. Got away from it and throws it incomplete, intended for James Rodgers. Would have been right at the first down stick. And so it's 4th down. Tank Carter got the pressure that flushed Katz out of the pocket, so the field goal unit will come out.
And with a name like that, he had to be a linebacker. You know, I mean, he couldn't be a kicker or anything else named Tank. Well, he had to be a linebacker.
His real name's Ricky, but ever since he was a little kid, he's been Tank.
It's perfect.
It fits.
It does.
Justin Cahoot will try the field goal. He was 22 out of 27 last year. His career long is 50. This one's from 47. Kick on the way. Pushed it to the left. And the Beavers miss a scoring opportunity, and that's a happy coach on the sideline. So it stays 7-7. TCU will take over after we check in with Reese Davis. Reese?
Pac-10 Mountain West, at least for now, matchup between Washington and BYU. Washington down 13-7. Jake Locker's got the great arm and the good wheels, too. It's just inside the pylon. Locker 8 for 13 so far. 1 in the air, 1 on the ground. Huskies up by a single.
One of the great dual threats in college football, Jake Locker. Here's a guy that's not bad either, Andy Dalton at the controls, and he'll keep it. And he's got a first down right on cue. Pickup of 12.
When your quarterback is a viable running threat, it just creates more dilemmas for a defense. They already spread you out by their formations, and then the speed of their wide receiver group you've got to respect. And then when the quarterback can run as well, makes it doubly difficult.
Dalton in the gun. Bart Johnson in motion on a first down. Play action. Firing out. Ooh. Johnson made the catch, and he maybe wishes he hadn't. He got leveled out there in the flat. Tuimane let him have it after this reception.
Yeah, he's right on it. It was a good throw by Dalton, but good defense, better defense by Oregon State. Tuimane was a guy who lost his confidence last year. I mean, they groomed him to be a starter as a junior. He had some trouble in pass coverage. He became a special team star, but he's back out there now as a starting safety.
2nd down and 8 for TCU. Fly sweep coming with that speed again of Dawson. He got dropped as he was approaching midfield. Got to the 48-yard line. James Dockery made the tackle. We'll bring up 3rd down. Dockery, one of the captains of the defense, making his 14th career start.
See, this is perfect situation, 3rd down for TCU, because it's 3rd down and less than 5. So that means everything is open to them. They can throw, they can hand it off, or your quarterback Dalton can run. You've got lots of options with this yardage on 3rd down.
Tucker's in the backfield with Dalton. Option. Tucker gets the pitch. Tucker gets the first down. Again, showing their versatility. Dalton, several times on that scoring drive, kept it himself to convert 3rd downs. This time the pitch out to his tailback.
When you have to defend both pass and run on 3rd down as a defense, you're at a disadvantage. I mean, the offense has the upper hand in that situation, and they made it count that time.
So now it's at the 46-yard line, back in Beaver territory. Dalton under center. Rolls out. Plenty of time. Deep middle. Just overshot Jimmy Young, who might have had a catch and maybe even a touchdown. Well, ESPN2's coverage of Major League Baseball and the hunt for October continues tomorrow night. Giants take on the Dodgers. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell as part of the hunt for October presented by Lee Jeans on ESPN2 and ESPN3.com. 8 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow night. Brad Nessler, Todd Blackledge, Hallie Rowe in the Cowboy Classic here in Arlington. Late in the first quarter, tie game between 6th-ranked TCU and number 24 Oregon State. Tried a little quick opener to Matthew Tucker, and he got only about a yard. This is the house that Jerry built. Jerry Jones on the right, Larry Scott on the left. Commissioner of the Pac-10. And what a spectacular football facility. There's nothing better. If you've never been here, if you get the chance, trust Todd and I, we've been here twice now. Yeah. I could do a game here every week, wouldn't bother me.
Yeah. Six Flags is right next door. Yeah. I don't think it has anything on this place, though. Jeez.
3rd down and long. 3rd and 9 as Dalton has time. Running out of it. And he'll go down. Stephen Pyle. Yep. The big guy from his tackle position. Preseason All-American. And that ends the quarter with a sack of the TCU quarterback. It's been a good one so far. Dalton with a scoring run. Katz with a scoring throw. Oregon State and TCU tied at 7 here in Arlington.